Welcome back to the channel. Harley Quinn here, leader of Tears of Angels in Region 293 with another video from the mobile game Doomsday: Last Survivors. Now, before we get into it, don't forget to like, sub and turn on that bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming content. Now, let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. So today's video, we will be talking about leadership tasks, roles, and some things you may not know how to do or are going to learn how to do here. Let's jump in. Number one, it may seem very simple to leadership that's been leadership for a while. However, when I first stepped up into it, I had no clue how to do this. This was a few years ago though. So it is technology. See this little marked? So when you're working your way through your technology tree, you might want people working on aggression. To level that up, you may want it to go from level 1 to level 2. To prioritize people working on it, you click the recommended tab. However, ours is maxed out, so it doesn't work to show you that. So I can show you here on skills. So I can click that one and it says marked. So now when people open up technology, there's a little thing that tells me to go to here. Click that one, leave technology, come in, shows you where to go. So that is how, if you aren't in leadership, you're seeing technology being marked and pinged for you to level up. Please level up what is pinged. Do not level up what you think needs to be done unless you're amongst leadership. Leadership have a plan, hopefully. Try to stick to it. Number 2, destroying buildings. Now, destroying buildings is a R5 role. Only R5 can do it. And in terms of destroying buildings, I highly suggest setting up your main alliance fort for a silver farm. So as you can see, we've got a silver farm going. 1 troop in, you earn silver. We do not have anyone in there at the moment. Let's go set one up. With those silver farms, 1 troop slowly builds a construction. While you're in there, every minute you earn a silver coin. Silver coins then can be used in the store, which I'll touch on in a second, allowing you to buy useful resources as well as buffs, speed ups, VIP. Building towers earn you silver as well. To destroy a building, you need to be R5, you view it, and you click demolish. It will pop up with resources used for this construction will not be refunded. Proceed anyway. That's when you go destroy. You'll do this when your main alliance fort is maxed out, fully builded, to then start a silver farm ticking away. Okay, every second, silver. Early on, you won't be doing this because building resources and things are very hard to get. However, once you are more established and you have a lot of territory and everything, you will start doing that. Building towers. This may seem simple to you. However, people do it wrong a lot of the time in events. And it's very frustrating. This is my tip for building towers. In the comments, please let me know if you have the similar strategy or if you have something else. I would love to hear your building strats. If you are building, let's say, to this checkpoint here, you need to touch this outside ring to get to the tower. To do so, you need to be able to build a watchtower somewhere where it can connect. Okay? If I was doing this, I would go one tower there, nice and close, allowing me to still squad troops. You don't want to build a tower here and lose this territory of space for bases. You would build it here so you could have maximum space. You then, it does that. The building system's dumb. You would rather build from out here, but no. I've asked many a time and they will not do it. It's zoomed in. So you see this level 5 and level 6 node over here? That is the outside line. So I will then bring this till that outside line here is now touching that. See this outside line? So that is then when I would mark my next tower. I move my screen gently so it doesn't disappear the tower. I would then place a ping. I will then pick up the tower, lining it up with these set of trees, another tower. Ping it. Moving the map carefully. Now because I've placed it where it is, I might potentially ping it, I might potentially place it there, depending on the room I need. But that is the outside edge, because when it was here, it was in line with this water. So that is the outside edge, and you just need to bring it up one more. So I need 4 towers to get to that bridge. That is efficient building. Don't just haphazardly place them and do whatever. Plan your build, maximize your towers, because resources are limited. In doing so in the overworld, you want to try to build and touch on the alliance camps to gain passive resources. So when building in the overworld map, plan your builds to pick them up along the way. Don't just build next to them and miss it, because these are quite helpful. They give these passive rewards. Every second, free resources. Next one, we have the store that I just touched on earlier. It's down here. You, as an R3 or below, you will just have access to this screen. You may see this, but you only have this window, and it shows you quantities of your things, how much they cost in silver, so on. When these numbers get low, so for example, if this was down to 1 piece shield, you would message leadership and go, hey, can you restock the store? Leadership then will go to the store and you go, oh, what was that? You wanted more VIP? You want to buy 1,000 of them? Okay, I'll bring that up to 1,000 for you. Go to here, VIP, 100, 64, 164. Doop. It will use 2.46 million gold. Now that is a fair bit of gold initially. When you're later on, it's nothing. So now we're up to 1,000. I would recommend designating someone in your leadership to keep an eye on the store if it's something that gets used a lot. However, again, as I said, when you're later on, you have a lot of resources. We kind of just throw in a few thousand every month or so, and if someone needs something else, we top it up as we go, but it doesn't really empty. Earlier on, this store runs out a lot because you don't have the gold to use, because your towers and buildings require gold, and building and expanding is more important. Next up, we have the merit award system. So these are earned in specific events, depending on your placement, and depending on the event, it changes what is available. So you have blue, gives 100 gems, some resources, and some healings. Purple, 200 gems, some resources, and some healings. Gold is 500 gems and the T3 blueprints, which is very important. We then have the red merit chests, which offer the gravity propeller, gravity controller fragments, 10 T3 tickets, resources, and 10 15-hour healing speed-ups, which is huge. The red ones are elite and up. They are very hard to get, and they're normally very few. Apex, you do get a lot of red crates. So you might have seen my armament video. It does touch on those gravity propellers. This is the only place you can get them. Now, every clan may have a different way of handing these out, depending on their rules, however they want to do it. In mine, those that score the highest in the event get the crates. You get rewarded with the crates for your hard work and scoring high. I don't play favoritisms. For example, if I didn't score in the top 10, for example, for the legendary, I wouldn't get one. Simple as that. We also don't just give crates to travelers, as you call it, random people that stop in, do an event with you, and bugger off. Those players are poachers, and they are poaching the rewards from your clan that are loyal. I would rather look after my loyal clan members that have been with me for over a month at least, rather than a random that just comes in for an event, steals the gold crate, and legs it. For me though, as I don't necessarily need the T3 tickets. I hand my gold crate down to my other members. So I'll show you how we do that. You distribute, scoring from top down. Is me. I'm going to skip me. Slippo is 180. Bjorn, Noob, 180. 180. I know none of my R2s are getting it. None of my R1s are getting it. We are now left with R3 and R4. I suggest separating your members like that if you can. It makes this job a lot easier on the leadership. We've got 10 crates, so we go down 140, 130, 117, and 97. 93, 74 is next. Chewy Pete Algo. Skipping me. Distribute. And you do this, so on, so forth. Okay, off camera I just distributed those last few. You can then show the distribution there, so you can see who gets it. So you can actually see if you have been unfair. If, for example, Bjorn didn't get a crate. Wait, where's my crate? Oh, sorry, mate. It is a bit of a bone of contention, as people want those rewards. So set those ground rules early, make it part of your system, stand by it. Lastly is gold. Gold is another touchy matter because it is currency. It is actual money. And how you play this is something you're going to have to really stand by. Now, the Alliance Vault shows you who has donated gold by spending packs, donation distribution log telling you how and who got gold, tells you how much frozen gold is there, shows you by clicking this little podium symbol, shows you who's spent the most gold. I've spent too much gold. Slippo is right on my heels. Algo going down. As you can see, we are quite a free-to-play clan. No one really spends any money on the game. Makes it very, very hard. It also shows people that have been here briefly that are no longer here. So depending on how you want to hand your gold out comes down to you. I would highly advise you as the leader, talk to your R4 and even talk to your spenders. Some of your spenders will get upset that they aren't getting their gold back, even though they don't technically own it. They are spending the money either way. The gold is then a bonus from IGG being sent to the clan that you get to spend how you want as a clan. Now, if a player donates it themselves willingly, that's a different story. If they put 2,000 gold in there for safekeeping and then they go, hey, I want my 2k back, and you don't give it to them, that's different. When I first set it up, I hit Slippo up as he was the other big spender and went, hey mate, do you mind if we do this? And he didn't mind. He was happy spending it that way, but at the same time, if he needs a little top up here or there, I'm definitely going to fund him because he's going to put it back into the clan either way. And he's going to help us by getting stronger, so it's a win-win. Now what we do is every single month, I give gold out at the end of the month after all 3 events. I have a spreadsheet made up. I tally every single person's score from all 3 events: Island Raid, Archipelago Raid, and Gen War. Then it all tallies it up into a big grand total, and that grand total then calculates from highest points to lowest points. My top 10 get 1,000 gold. Everyone under that gets 500 or 200 depending on how much gold we have in the vault. With the gold, it's end of month. Just finished doing my spreadsheet up for June, July's events. And we're going to be distributing gold out to my members. So to distribute it, all you've got to do is click that button, and then depending on how much you're going to give, you type into here, say 100 gold. It tells you down the bottom, 100 gold out of 173. Now, I cannot give, for example, I cannot just go to myself being a greedy leader and give myself 100k. Leadership, R5, can only take 30% of the pot at once. Okay? R4s can only take 20% of the pot, because there is a role in R5 which allows you to give buffs. And one of those is Gold Deliverer. So, it tells you right there. Maximum distributable ratios varies depending on the member's rank. 30% for the leader and 20% for everyone else. And it has to be at least 100 gold. It can be done once a day by the leader or the treasurer. So, doing that, you pick the amount of gold you want to do and you distribute it. Simple as that. in terms of those R4 positions that I was just mentioning, you might see the R4 leaders with those little symbols underneath their pictures. So for Algo, he's got a little plus. You click the plus, and you can select a role. So each role has something different. Building and research, treasurer is gathering speed, tactical advisor is squad attack and defense, training advisor is HP and training speed, disease is research speed and damage to zombies, infantry is infantry and steel, ranged is ranged attack and food, and rider is rider attack and wood. These can only be changed once every 10 minutes, so you can't just spam them. If your leadership is trusting of you, you can ask them for the disease researcher to give you an extra 2% research buff, if they're willing to do so. However, you are able to do a lot of damage within the R4 and cause some havoc, so they may not do that for the security of the clan. So that comes down to if you're trustworthy or not. Same with the training advisor. So amongst my leadership, they get cycled through if they need any of them if they want. However, I have my main 3 there. Slippo is my all-rounder, so he gets that one. The treasurer is the gold amount, which I can set to a limit, allowing him to distribute. So you set it to 1 or 0 if you don't want to. Sorry, you got to set it to 1% as a minimum, as a bit of safety. So the treasurer can't spend all the gold without your knowing, or just don't have a treasurer. Either one.
So coming back to the gold, end of every month, I hand it out. Looking at our alliance board, I have requirements for each of your troop tier.
Minimum requirements for points. So you see it's T5 50%. At the end of the month, if a player has not reached the 50% point requirement as a grand total, they don't get the gold. So T4 is 30% of power in events, T5 is 50, T6 is 70%. It's given quite good results in activity overall. That explained is if you're a 100 million power player with T5, you need to score 50 million points in an event. It's not overly hard if you are active. Gen War and an Island Raid, I'm a little bit more lenient on, in terms of it really depends on the matching. You may get heli-padded day 1 in Island Raid. Gen War, you may not be available. You may be spent from the month. A little bit lenient in that. It's more if you're a 50 million player, if you're a 100 million player, for example, and at the end of the month, you've only got 18 million points, you're not getting gold. You've done nothing to help the clan over that month. It might sound harsh, but if you're an active competitive alliance and you've got players scoring over 200 million points across the month on average, and then you've got players on the same power scoring 20, it's not very fair. It's also my little way of giving a bit of incentive to make people compete across all the events and not just go hard for Island Raid, use all their stuff, use all their troops, die, score 80 million points and go, yeah, I'm the greatest. I got myself a gold chest from the merit rewards. I'm now just going to sit and farm for the next 2 events. It's a little way of giving a bit of incentive. in the comments, let me know what you do with the gold. I would love to know what other clan leaders, other clan players, what happens. I know in some of the big spender clans, they donate the gold back to the spenders. In terms of top 10 spenders, they get 5% of the pot or whatever. I know that is a thing, but let me know. So those are a few R5 and R4 tips, tricks, information you may need to know in how to run, govern, operate your clan on a day-to-day basis. Now, if this has helped, please smash that like button for me. If you haven't subbed, please hit that sub button. It will help me out. Check a link below to that ARMS video that I was talking about in referring to those gravity devices. And I'll catch you in the next one. Harley out.